So this, of course, all this begs the question. Well, Mike, how do we talk about ourselves? How do we convey ourselves? How do we market ourselves in a way that really conveys who we are? And what I've created is just a simple matrix called the PB3 for short. I just call it the personal brand 3. All of us are a personal brand business, right? We're coaches. People are working with us directly. Most of us are probably not selling physical products of any kind. We're selling ourselves. We're selling our expertise or services. And so when someone asks me, well, Mike, how do I convey this? I just ask them these 3 questions. And so I'm going to take you guys through this really quickly. The first question is intentionally emotional. I'm using sort of bad language on purpose because I want to get to what's inside of you. So what pisses you off? And if you're taking notes, what I mean by that, and this is another emotion word, is the injustice that you see in the world. I want you to use that word. Not in your marketing, but right now as we kind of dig through your backstory. What pisses you off? What is the injustice you see in the world? The second question is what breaks your heart? And that is the compassion you have for people, which is probably why all of you have gone into coaching. You carry a sense of injustice and compassion. There's a blend there, right? It's a burden you carry in your heart. And number 3, what problem are you trying to solve? I said a few minutes ago, business is nothing more than solving a problem for a profit. That's business. Charity is we solve a problem for no profit, right? But in our businesses, what is the big problem you're trying to solve? And that is the purpose of your business. Now, let me share a little bit of how to frame this, and we can kind of dialogue a little bit about that, but let me contextualize this because this was a really big breakthrough for me. I ask my clients this all the time. This is actually the foundation of everything that I do in marketing and branding. And several years ago, Allison, I hit kind of a ceiling with my business, not a financial ceiling. I was just getting bored. I didn't know why I was doing what I was doing anymore. For the first few years of my business, I was just trying to start a business. I was trying to get revenue to a certain place. I was trying to hire the right people, get clarity on what I was offering. And once I got there and I got out of my old day job where I was, was in marketing in corporate, I realized that my journey up to that point was completely driven by leaving a present negative and moving to a future positive. Once I got to the future positive, I was like, what's next? It was like I was saved from something, but not to something. Mm-hmm. So I was in that in-between period where I was like, well, what's next? I solved most of the problems, but now what do I do? And my assistant said, why don't we just use the PB3 on you? I've seen you do it a million times. I'm going to walk you through it. So we do this, and she just keeps asking me question after question, just digging deeper like a good coach does. And what I realized was that there were these stories connected to these questions. So what pisses me off is that I remember this one day, Thanksgiving 2013, my mother and sister came over to my house in New Jersey. I was living at the time. First time I ever hosted Thanksgiving. Stayed up till 2 a.m, talking, having a few glasses of wine. It was amazing. Never had a time like that with my mother before, when we're drinking together. And I checked my email before I go to bed, and my company was like, we need you to come into work tomorrow on Black Friday. I was like, oh my, what? It ticked me off. It really pissed me off. We weren't a retail company. There's no reason I needed to be there. And I was already working 60, 70 hours a week for them. And I found it, everyone, I found it to be a grave injustice that someone was calling me last second to come in for some meetings. And I thought all these things, God forbid I get in a car accident, or this is the last time that my mom and sister and I ever get to do this. It's ticking me off that someone's telling me what days I can work, what days I'm allowed to spend with my family, especially after I've been putting in a lot of work for them. That really pissed me off. What breaks my heart is that I worked with a lot of people while I was growing my side hustle who were brilliant. They went to the best universities in the world. And I would talk to them a little bit about my side hustle, and They were like caged animals. They were like living a caged life. They weren't just content, they were caged, let alone charged. They were not living a charged life, even a content life. They were living a caged life. And back then I was watching this TV show called The Walking Dead about zombies. You know, I'm just like, man, we got zombies everywhere. I'm one of them. I'm trying to get out. I'm trying to wake up, you know, and that broke my heart because I felt like a lot of these folks didn't like their job and they didn't enjoy what they were doing, but they were brilliant. And the world was going to miss out on their brilliance because they were living this caged life. So the problem I'm trying to solve is to help that small sliver of this population who wants to step out, become a coach, a speaker, a consultant, a person who wants to create impact with their ideas, get their message heard, a person who wants to do work that they love and actually believe in. And I'm going to help them do that by solving the marketing problem. That is when, snap of a finger, I no longer saw myself as a marketing guy. I saw myself as almost a life coach, if you will, or career coach who happens to do it through marketing. Now, here's the funny thing. When I share that story from stage, from my podcast, that Thanksgiving story is what most people resonate with. They get to know me. They don't ask, well, how do you market? That's like a second, third level question. But the emotional connection is made. Mm-hmm. So as we kind of go through these questions, everyone, I leave them purposely open-ended. Some may ask, well, are we talking about what pisses me off professionally at work? No, I just want you to rant. I want you to verbally just toss it up on this on your notebook paper or on the screen, because, and I'll finish with this in a second. Notice what I didn't say. I didn't say, you know what really pisses me off? Really bad advertising and ugly websites. You know what really breaks my heart? People have no idea what they're doing with their marketing. Now, there are people who would answer that way. Guess where they are? They work at Ogilvy or some other global marketing company, VaynerMedia. They design all the ads that we see on TV. These are artists. I'm a coach who happens to market, and I'm good at it. Those people are marketers who market. Yeah. And what happened was going through this connected me deeper to my core, and that's what people resonate with. And all of us as coaches, we need to find what that is. We need to find what's in the core, because that's what people are going to believe. It's going to be what they resonate with. It's going to be that frequency that they tune into, that you're communicating. So the PB3.
Mm-hmm. You know, we have to get to and reveal our core for our clients to believe we can get to theirs.
It's absolutely true. It's absolutely right. It's absolutely right. Yeah. So then everything from there becomes, how do we strategically deploy this? Mm-hmm. How do we write stories? How do we create content? How do we write it on a web page in a way that makes sense and connects with people? How do we do that? That's really where all the marketing and branding comes into play. When someone asks me, how do we start a brand? I start there. It's your personal story. Mm-hmm. It's what Christina's why is. It is what Jeannie's why is. It's what Justice's why is, right? It's that personal story that makes you unique, because nobody else has that story. Cool. Then you build the platform, and then you position your brand, and then you have the products and services and the prices. And I'll draw that all out for you guys so you can have a roadmap. But I want us to really understand that this is the foundational piece in the industry that we've chosen to make our living in.
Yeah.